Welcome in alongside my good friend, Pierre Nugent, Fox 9, Minneapolis. I am Paul Catalina. This is The Triple Option, a show so epically big. It is now simulcast on 2 YouTube channels.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Not one YouTube channel is not enough for me and you, my friend. We needed 2. Not 1, 2.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we are on 2 separate YouTube channels, so please go over to the, Triple Option Only channel. But we'll keep doing this. Gerrit, I don't know any reason to stop in the short term, but
no, we can stretch it out.
We'll do it for a while until people get used to it, and then we'll move it over. So we'll see. We'll just see how it all goes. But launching the new channel, You have to do, there's a lot of marketing things I didn't know, like in this business that I'm trying to find out about, like, oh yeah, you've got to we sell advertising, which that's how we make money. And then when it comes to it, like, hey, how do you get the word out about that? We pretend like, hell, I don't even know. I guess you just got to hope for it. Well, sometimes you do have to buy some advertising as well. So I've done a little bit of that, a little promotion, just a little, internet ad buys to hopefully target some college football audience or some sports audience. I think now that we're going to be on our own channel, we might expand out the topics a little bit more, so that we don't get so pigeonholed into some things. Like, for example, today, Pierre, we're going to lead off talking about it. We're going to talk about the World Series because it just happened last night.
Right.
It just happened. So I also just finished. I know that this will not surprise you knowing me as a Red Sox fan, but I watched the entire documentary in 2, I would have watched it in one night, but my wife's like, I'm sleepy, let's go to bed. And I was like, damn it. All right. Yeah. She enjoyed it, though. It was very good. The comeback on Netflix, I suggest you watch it. It's wonderful. And
can I ask you a question about that first, though? How different is that documentary from the 30 for 30 documentary that we saw?
It's much better. It's much better.
It's better. Okay.
It's better.
Okay.
Yeah. It's better. It's the best one. People like to constantly tell me that there's like 30 of them. There's like 3, but I don't understand. But like this 20 years, you get a little bit more perspective on it. You get maybe a little bit more unvarnished thoughts on some things with it. So, and it throws in the 20-year anniversary. You get a lot more of Kevin Millar, who
he's a character.
Oh yeah, and really kind of the catalyst for the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh
It's weird when you think about it. Like Kevin Millar was the guy that kind of made it all happen. Yeah. And brought the right attitude to the team. But I saw something this morning, and I actually got an Astros fan friend of mine who he tweeted an article that an Astros blogger had written about, like, I was there the night the Yankees aura died, and it was like when the Astros beat them a few years ago, and I was like, hold on.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I was like, bullshit. No. Yeah. Let's get this right. So Chris Allman, who used to, sit in and host, and I need to get him back, but I sent that to Chris Allman, and he was like, no, you're right. He's like, so here's what it is. So here's the postmortem on when the Yankees stopped being the scary Yankees. They took a fatal blow in the 0-1 World Series. Mm-hmm. When the Diamondbacks beat them, that was a fatal blow to them. Then they lost to an expansion team.
Right.
Then 2 years later, they lost to another expansion team. And then the year after that, the only thing that they had left in the tank was their constant beating of the Red Sox in key moments. And when the comeback happened, that killed the aura for all time. So the 2009 World Series team was just like any other World Series team from any other franchise, be it Arizona, be it the Rangers, be it whoever pops up and wins the World Series in that year. That's just what they were. They happened to have a really good team that year. They won the World Series, but they didn't win it along the way of like being, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio and Whitey Ford and Yogi Berra, like the ghosts of the Yankee past have all passed on to the other side now. It's all over. So now, last night or 2 nights ago, you think, oh, here's the Yankee Mystique. We got this big, moment where a fan rips the ball out, celebrated by the Yankee fans, even though he almost broke Mookie's wrist. Like, this happens. You're like, oh, here they go. And then they jump up 5-0 last night. Oh, the Yankee aura is back. It's back. It's back. Then the 5th inning happens, and bye-bye Yankee aura. Doesn't exist anymore. It's over.
As somebody who may or may not have been on the Dodgers money line last night, I thought that 5th inning was quite something, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It's like the moment that Aaron Judge dropped the ball in center field, the first thing that came to mind was, you remember how Derek Jeter would talk about, after his playing days, or even still in his playing days, he would talk about, oh, the ghosts will come out. The ghosts of Yankee Stadium will come out. Granted, that was old Yankee Stadium, but he said, oh, the ghosts will come out. And I saw it the moment when Aaron Judge dropped the ball. I said, oh, it looks like the ghosts are out. It's just, you kind of knew it was all going to come crumbling down at that very moment. And sure enough, it did. What an absolute collapse. What was it? 500 runs, 3 errors. It was something I've never seen in a World Series game. The errors that were committed from top to bottom in that type of set. And to be honest with you, I felt bad for Gerrit Cole because he pitched his tail off last night.
I know, look, I feel bad for no Yankee ever.
Yeah, right.
I don't.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Gerrit Cole has been a Yankee fan since he came into this earth.
Yeah.
And got to be in the World Series at Yankee Stadium, pitching a game where the Yankees had to win. And I got to tell you, I've never maybe been so, I don't want to say jealous, but kind of in awe of like getting to live out a dream like that.
The moment
okay, if you had told me I could be the Dallas Cowboys quarterback when I was 10 years old and that we'd be playing in the Super Bowl one day, like that would have been like, no way. Like you could have easily more convinced me that I would be an Avenger, than that, right? Like that would be a more realistic, but those are the things when you're goofing around in your backyard or you're, I know every single one of us, every sports kid has played the sport by themselves while announcing the game.
Of course.
Like, I've thrown I've hit many tennis balls pretending to, win the World Series. I've caught many touchdown passes. I was the only player. I was like Bugs Bunny, like first base, Bugs Bunny, second base, Bugs Bunny. It was me, like all over the place, just killing time as a kid. Gerrit Cole, he did that too. He was in his backyard, of course, better than you and me doing it.
Of course.
Like he's pitching into a net, by himself, like doing it. And in his imagination, he's like, Game 5 of the World Series. Yankees really need a great start from Cole here. And he's just firing it in there. And then that thing that he pretended to do happened last night.
Correct.
And then all of the chowderheads around him ruined it for him.
Yeah. That's part of what makes the game so great, because it's such a finicky game and anything can happen at any time. And in my opinion, it's one of those situations where if you're going to look around the entire landscape of sports and you think to yourself, which sport would probably have the easiest time coming back from a 3-0 deficit? And I shouldn't say the easiest time, but the more likely sport that I would believe it to happen in would be baseball, because of just the finicky nature of the game. Anything could happen at any time. You're not up against the clock. It's something that could happen. And the Yankees were on their way to at least make it forcing a Game 6. But yet, like I said, the ghosts were coming out for the wrong team. I guess the ghosts are upset that they completely tore down a museum of baseball that was old Yankee Stadium and put up that new stadium that I've been to, which is it's nice.
Fine. It's fine.
It's fine. But as somebody who has been to both, the old Yankee Stadium there's just something about it. There's something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a
there's an aura about it.
Yeah, so the new Yankee, and look, they've won World Series in the new Yankee Stadium, but it's just not. It's not that, it's not that like the monuments move, like when
even
you move.
The Yankee fans will tell you the same thing. Everybody who goes to the Bronx, like in the Bronx, would tell you that like the old Yankee Stadium there was just a little more something special to it. And for the record, I was in the backyard when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, pretending and dreaming of the moment to where I won the lottery and I could buy the Miami Dolphins and I could fire everyone. And that dream still lives actually to this day. That was my sports dream. So I'm still holding out hope. My dream of an athletic accomplishment was just a little bit different than Gerrit Cole's.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think everybody, like, if you could buy a professional sports franchise, or if you gave me like Bezos money and told me what am I going to do with it, that NIL collective at Florida State would be ridiculous.
Yes.
It would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I believe it, my friend. I believe it.
It would. And then, like, when leagues called me to buy teams, like, hey, do you want to buy the Dolphins? But like, I will buy the Dolphins for Pierre.
Oh.
And then, like, you just let me know when I can buy the Cowboys, because I'll do that too.
They'll tell tales about us one day. I promise you. They'll tell stories about us, and they will live in infamy. George Steinbrenner has nothing on what I would be as a pro sports owner. Nothing.
Would you, like, all throughout the organization, would you handle that personally?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Absolutely.
From top to, like, would you start, here's what would be the total Pierre way for you to do it.
Yeah.
Like, most people start with the general manager.
Yep.
And work their way down. You would start at the bottom and work your way up.
I could see it's kind of like, I view it as a little bit of like when you go to the buffet, it's kind of like, what am I in the mood for right now? You have everything in front of you. Which direction am I going to go in first? Well, it kind of depends on my mood. I might go to middle management first and say, you're fired. I might go to the bottom and say, you're fired. It would kind of just be like a Russian roulette of sorts of decision-making when it comes to who I'm going to fire.
But I do know this. The GM and head coach would be last.
Oh,
because
yes.
Look, it wouldn't be like, this is not like a month-long process for you.
No.
We're talking 10 days. Two business weeks, like 2 business weeks of doing this. And maybe only, that's what you would do. Head coach, GM, they're the last ones because you want them to feel the dread.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without question.
So then they can tell the next guys, like, look, this mofo's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's one of those horror movies where the main character, like the killer, like is terrorizing the main character and comes to them and says, I'm going to kill you last. Like that's going to be like, and that's kind of like how it would be. I want to strike fear in the hearts of every employee that works for me. That would be my mission. Fear and terror.
You would fit in well in Miami generally.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That would fit.
And make no mistake, I'm not saying that the team would be any better with me as the owner than it is now, but I guarantee you, I will do absolutely everything in my power to make sure that if we're a loser, we're going to be entertaining as a loser. I could promise you that.
I know what you wouldn't do. You would not, like Stephen Ross did, go, hey, let's drum up some interest in this team. Let me sell 1% of the teams to some random Miami celebrities.
No.
Hey, Gloria Estefan, buy 1% of the Dolphins. Like, look, if you want to sell 1% of the Dolphins, but also take that money you made and go, hey, let me hire the best football people I can to make sure that we get to the playoffs and go to a Super Bowl for the first time since 1984.
Yeah.
Or 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
84.
I can't tell you how much I would absolutely insist that I have 100% control ownership, not 99.9, 100% control. The buck starts and stops with me. I am a ruthless dictator when it comes to this football team. Ruthless. I don't answer to anyone.
But you get to meet Jennifer Lopez for a day.
Great. You want to do the halftime show? Fine. You're going to help me with football decisions? No, you're not. Get the hell out of my stadium.
Listen, this is why I love Pierre. That's why I love it. But and to wrap up, like, here's the thing. That's kind of how the Dodgers did things when the new ownership group took over.
Yeah.
They had, I love seeing Magic Johnson out there. Like, everything that guy touches turns to gold.
Yeah.
And he's like, here's the other thing. So The only thing that hasn't worked for him is the Lakers, really. Like they've also lost they're much like the Yankees, they've also lost their mystique.
Right.
Like
yeah. Totally.
The thing about the Lakers, and it's the NBA now, it's like itinerant, so the Lakers became great because every time they had a great run, they'd have a free agent like a Shaq come in, or Worthy, or someone like, or Kareem would come in, but the heart of the team was built up through them.
Yes.
That's why the Warriors were a dynasty, because the heart of the team was built up through the Warriors, right? Mm-hmm. It was built up through them, and then they would go hire guns as they needed to. Now, and this is the nature of the NBA for the most part, you're just a team of hired guns.
Correct.
You're just a team of hired guns, and I think that hurts the Lakers' mystique, because the thing is like, okay, Magic's done. Okay, it was the Bulls' time. There's this little thing like, there's this guy named Kobe Bryant that they found as well and traded for a broken down Vlade Divac.
Yes.
Like that's what they did. And then they had another like ridiculously great decade. And then now, okay, we'll just go get LeBron. Well, they only won in the bubble with LeBron, right? So like all this is not the same. That's what the Yankees kind of do now. The Dodgers are very much a team of hired guns, and I don't know
100%.
how sustainable that is, but I think in the short term now, like if you look at next year, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Bobby Miller, Tyler Glasnow are going to be the rotation, and then Walker Buehler probably walks. Maybe they bring him back as the fifth starter. I don't know. They could maybe get him on a song because of his injury history. Right. They can do whatever. They can work on the bullpen however they want. But Muncy's back. They probably sign Willy Adames, move Tommy Edman to center field, figure out what, if they bring in Teoscar Hernandez back or not. And then you've got the same team back out there again, and then Ohtani on the mound.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's going to be a scary couple of years for anybody, facing the Dodgers. It's hard not to think that they won't be the World Series favorite. I'm sure the line is already out today. I haven't looked at it, but they have to be the odds-on favorite to win it again next year. I would be shocked if that wasn't the case. The other team that I'm looking at in the National League right now that has been falling short as of late, that has talent that could potentially give them a run for their money, is Philadelphia, but Philadelphia has fallen short on their own accord as well in the last couple of years. So it's hard not to think that the Dodgers couldn't make this into a dynasty, or at worst, if they make it to the NLCS or they make it to the World Series and lose, but this will be a team kind of how I feel like the Warriors were. And this, I'm glad that you brought up like the NBA version. This is why I can never really be mad or be a Warriors hater, because they built it through the draft. They built it organically. Now, I know everybody's going to say, what about Kevin Durant? Well, he was, like you said, the hired gun for 2 years, but this team also won a championship after he left, and Steph Curry put on one of the best NBA Finals performances I've ever seen in Game 4 in Boston. And that's why I can never be a Warriors hater, because this team had did it through the draft, found a way to build a team around these guys, and turn themselves into a dynasty. That's why I can never be a hater. I can't be.
The hardest thing about you can't be a Steph Curry hater in general just because he's there's nothing like, what can you say negative about him?
No, he is. I will miss Steph Curry when Steph Curry walks away from the game. I will miss him a hell of a lot more than I will miss LeBron James when LeBron James walks away from the game. And in all honesty, if I'm being objective about it, LeBron James might be pound for pound the best player to ever play the game. He very well could be. I know we can have this debate. But in terms of entertainment and a pure joy of watching the game through a player, it's Steph Curry, and it's not even close.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. LeBron, I always think that I agree with LeBron's assessment of why we compare players. He said it, his analogy was it's like a bar, at the top, you have your top shelf, you've got your, good stuff.
Sure.
Then you've got your wells, right? But the top shelf is LeBron and Michael and Magic and Russell and, those and Kareem and those guys. Don't compare them, because here's the other reason it's not fair to compare them. The rules are different now.
Yeah.
The rules were different for Jordan. The rules were different for Bill Russell. Yep. The rules are different for LeBron.
And the way the game is played, and how in back in the day they'd run it through the big man, and then the big man is not the primary focal point of the offense anymore at this point.
Yeah.
The 3-point game is completely different now than it was even just 10 years ago. So I agree with that. And I don't like to go down that road. Every once in a while for the mental exercise, I'll do it with people because it's kind of fun. But I agree from that assessment. It's hard to say, well, this player is better than this player because of this. I agree.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a break right here. When we come back,